Hello, I am D. Balnarasimha, Assistant Professor of Chemistry, Government Degree College, Ramanapet. Today, in this video lecture, I am going to discuss about photochemical reactions and their quantum efficiencies and photosensitization and photosensitized reactions. Okay, in the previous video lecture, I tried to explain what is photochemistry and what are the laws of photochemistry and what is quantum efficiency and few solved problems on laws of photochemistry and quantum efficiency. Okay, so in this lecture I am going to discuss these photochemical reactions and what is photosensitization and photosensitized reactions. So in this video lecture I am going to discuss about these things. So what are photochemical reactions and what is photosensitization and some few examples of photosensitized reactions and applications of photosensitization. Okay, so before entering into these topics, I would like to again say about a few words about photochemistry. Photochemistry is a branch of science which deals with the chemical reactions caused by the absorption of radiation whose wavelength lies in the visible and ultraviolet region. Okay, photochemistry says about the reactions which occur by observing the light of wavelength of visible and ultraviolet region. Okay, so first one, photochemical reactions. We know that according to Einstein's law of photochemical equivalence, every reactive molecule absorbs one quantum of radiation, and clearly the number of reactive molecules should be equal to the number of quanta observed. But it is not fully true, and in many cases it has been observed that a small amount of light absorbed can bring about a large amount of reaction. And the second one is a large amount of light observed brings about only a small amount of reaction. This anomaly is explained on the basis of the fact that photochemical reaction consists of two processes, primary process and secondary process. Okay, here what I am trying to say is, so according to Einstein's law, that is second law of photochemistry, which says that one molecule absorbs one quantum of energy or one mole substance absorbs one Einstein of energy. If if that happens, the quantum efficiency should be 1, okay, equal to 1. But there are some anomalies are there. Okay, just if you observe this reaction between hydrogen and chlorine in the presence of light, it is a chain reaction. Just one quantum of energy is observed, and this quantum efficiency lying it should be equal to 1. But whereas in case of this reaction, it is about 10 to 4 to 10 to 4, 10 to the power of 5 times, 10 to the power of 4 to 10 to the power of 5 times. So even one quantum of energy can generate such amount of quantum yield. Why it is happening? And second one is a large amount of light observed brings about only a small amount of reaction. If you take the reaction between hydrogen and bromine, and it gives hydrogen bromide in the presence of light, so the quantum efficiency of this is less than 1. Why it is this so? It is because the photochemical reaction consists of two processes, two stages. Okay, one is primary process, which is physical one, and the second one is secondary process. Okay, right. So what is primary process? Sorry. The absorption of radiation by an atom or molecule to form an excited atom or molecule is known as primary process. So what is primary process? Absorption of radiation by a atom or molecule, and it becomes or it gets excited. Okay, so this is primary process. In such process, light radiation is absorbed by an atom or molecule to produce an excited atom or excited molecule. The formation of excited atom or molecule doesn't necessarily mean that reaction will take place or only one molecule will react. Doesn't necessarily mean that reaction will take place or only one molecule will react. Okay. So this primary process, in the primary process, the excited atom or molecule formed, okay, the excited atom or the molecule formed, the excited atom or excited molecule formed by the absorption may then behave in different ways. Okay, it may behave in different ways. Okay, there are about 4 distinct possibilities of excitation of the molecule. Okay, there are 4 distinct possibilities of excitation of the molecule. First one, type 1. Sorry, type 1. In type 1, the excited molecule, suppose molecule is excited, it shows excited molecule. Okay, in type 1, the energy absorbed raises the molecule to an excited state, okay, which is unstable. Excited state is the unstable one. Okay, the molecule breaks up into atoms or radicals immediately on absorption of photon. That means dissociation of the molecule takes place. Okay, the dissociation of this molecule takes place. Okay, and the fragments obtained are associated with different kinetic energy, and a continuous spectrum is obtained without any fine structure. Okay, continuous spectrum is obtained. And in type 2, okay, in type 2, the electronic transition from a stable ground state to stable excited state. Okay, in that excitement, the excited ground state to excited state, the molecule, the electronic transition from a stable ground state to stable excited state, there will be no direct dissociation of the molecule. This is indicated by the corresponding spectrum consisting of discontinuous bands with fine structure. So in this type 2, there will be electronic transition from stable ground state to stable excited state. So there will be a spectrum consisting of discontinuous bands. And type 3 possibility, okay, the molecule is raised to a higher level. The energy acquired is more than the binding energy. Therefore, molecule would undergo dissociation and the spectrum will be continuous throughout. Okay, in this type 2 also, the molecule is it acquires the molecule is raised to a higher level. The energy acquired is more than the binding energy. Therefore, molecule would undergo dissociation and the spectrum will be continuous throughout. In this also, the spectrum is formed is continuous. In type 4, transition occurs from the lower level to stable upper level. During the course of vibration, the molecule may shift from the stable state to unstable state. When a shift of this type takes place, the molecule would dissociate, producing atoms or radicals. This type of behavior is referred to as pre-dissociation. So the spectrum would show fine structure. In the region of pre-dissociation, the rotational lines are absent and the rotational bands have a diffuse appearance. Okay, These are four distinct possibilities of excitation of a molecule. Okay. Now coming to the secondary process. The excited molecule during the primary process may undergo one of the following changes to complete the reaction. Okay, the excited molecule during the primary process may undergo one of the following changes. So, upon observing the radiation, the molecule is excited. It is primary stage, primary process. In the secondary process, this molecule may undergo one of the following changes. It may react to form a product, okay, and it can be partly or fully deactivated and no reaction occurs. So, it may deactivated, it may start a chain reaction, okay, it may start a chain reaction like the reaction between hydrogen and chlorine, okay, this is a chain reaction. There are three possibilities: forming a product, simply forming a product. There will be a possibility of chain reaction. There will be a deactivation of this excited state by losing energy. It will be deactivated. These are three possibilities. As the law of photochemical equivalence is applicable to primary process, light radiations are essential only for the primary processes. It is important to note that the secondary process may take place in the dark provided the products of primary reactions are available. Okay, as the law of photochemical equivalence is applicable to primary process only. Law of photochemical equivalence is applicable to only primary process only. Einstein's law is applicable to only primary process only. Second law of photochemistry is only applicable to primary process only. These secondary reactions or secondary process can occur in under dark conditions, provided there is a product formed in the primary reaction, okay, primary process. This is about photochemical reactions which takes place in two processes or two steps. Primary process, the molecular atom gets excited by observing the radiation, and sorry, in the secondary process the excited molecule may be converted into product, or it may lead to lead to chain reaction, and or this excited molecule may be deactivated, and the reaction, in that case the reaction will not occur. Okay, this is about the basic concepts of photochemical reactions. So now we will discuss about a few reactions of photochemistry, and there we will have some discussion on their quantum efficiencies. Okay, so primary process is a physical phenomena and the secondary process is a chemical phenomena. Okay, so photochemical decomposition of hydrogen iodide. So before that, the activated molecule or the products of primary process may react with other molecules to form products, or the activated molecules may emit the radiation of either the same or of different frequency. These processes are known as secondary process. So in the light of above discussion, I am going to discuss about some of the mechanism of important reactions. Okay, so I am starting with photochemical decomposition of hydrogen iodide in the gaseous phase, or photolysis of hydrogen iodide. On exposure to radiations having wavelength in the range of 207 to 252 nanometers, the decomposition of hydrogen iodide takes place. The decomposition of hydrogen iodide takes place. Hydrogen iodide, right? Okay, so if you observe this decomposition of hydrogen iodide in the primary process, the radiation gets absorbed by the molecule, that is hydrogen iodide, In the secondary process, the radical hydrogen free radical combines with hydrogen iodide and forms hydrogen molecule and forms iodide radical. So this iodide radical reacts to give iodine molecule. So, and there is a possibility of other secondary process such as this iodide radical formed will react with hydrogen iodide, that is some reactant, and gives some iodine molecule and hydrogen free radical and hydrogen molecule and hydrogen iodide. Okay. So this is about the possibility of secondary processes. Okay. Thus the overall reaction is therefore obtained by adding reactions 1, 2 and 3. Okay, the overall reaction is this. I have already written this one, right? This is the overall reaction or decomposition of hydrogen iodide, reaction of decomposition of hydrogen iodide. So, thus for every 1 quantum of light absorbed, 2 molecules of hydrogen iodide are decomposed. Okay, every molecule, every quantum of 1 quantum of light absorbed, 2 moles of or 2 molecules of hydrogen, 2 molecules, moles means Einstein. In the case of Einstein we mention moles. Okay, here I am talking about quantas. Okay, quantum, right? So here for every 1 quantum of light observed, 2 molecules of hydrogen iodide are decomposed. Hence the quantum yield of the reaction is 2. Okay, the quantum yield of is reaction 2. 1 quantum is observed and 2 molecules are reacted. So phi is equal to 2, right? So it may be noted that while adding the quantum yield for the photochemical decomposition of hydrogen iodide is 2. Okay, right. This is about photochemical decomposition of hydrogen iodide. And second example is here. The second example is the hydrogen chloride reaction. When a mixture of hydrogen and chlorine is exposed to visible or UV light of wavelength less than 480 nanometers, okay, a fast reaction takes place resulting in the formation of hydrogen chloride. Okay, hydrogen chlorine, right, in the presence of light gives hydrogen chloride. It is a fast reaction. Okay, the quantum yield of the reaction is exceptionally high, that is it is 10 to the power of 4 to 10 to even 10 to the power of 6. The presence of oxygen slows down the rate of the reaction and lowers the quantum yield also. The extremely high quantum yield can be explained by the chain mechanism proposed by Nernst. Nernst proposed the mechanism of this chain reaction. Okay, the different steps involved are first of all in the primary process. In the primary process, chlorine atom gets excited by observing radiation in the UV visible range. Okay, that is less than 480 nanometers of wavelength. Okay, right. Then here the chlorine molecule gets dissociated into atoms or free radicals. Okay, chlorine free radicals. It is called as chain initiation step. It is primary process. In the secondary process, this chlorine atom reacts with hydrogen. Okay, it forms hydrogen chloride and hydrogen free radical. This formed hydrogen free radical reacts with chlorine molecule and forms hydrogen chloride and gives chlorine free radical. In this way chain propagates, the reaction propagates, and in the termination one chlorine reacts with another chlorine free radical and forms chlorine molecule, or hydrogen free radical and chlorine free radical and forms hydrogen chloride, or hydrogen free radical and hydrogen free radical forms not in the reverse manner. Okay, these are termination steps. Okay, sorry. So in the this is about a chain reaction. According to the mechanism proposed, there is a possibility of the formation of an infinite number of molecules of hydrogen chloride due to the absorption of a single quantum of radiation. The reaction stops when the chlorine atom left off combine with each other to form chlorine. Okay, right? So sorry, the reaction takes place on the walls of the reaction vessel. The primary process in hydrogen chloride reaction is called chain initiation step, right? The reactions these 1 and 2 are called as chain propagation steps, and this fourth one is called as chain terminating step. The reason for the high quantum yield is that the step 2, okay, the step 2 and 3 are repeated a large number of times before the chain termination. It is important to note that the quantum yield in the combination of reaction of hydrogen and bromine is very low as compared to hydrogen and chlorine, although the same mechanism was proposed for the combination of hydrogen and bromine to form gaseous hydrogen bromide. Okay, right? So this is about hydrogen and chloride reaction. So next one is photochemical combination of hydrogen and bromide. So bromine to give hydrogen bromide, right? So when a mixture of hydrogen and bromine is exposed to radiations having wavelength 450 nanometers and 450 to 550 nanometers, they combine to form hydrobromic acid, and the reaction may be represented as like this. Okay, in the presence of light, the quantum yield of the reaction is very low, as we have discussed earlier. The low quantum yield may be explained by the mechanism given below. In the primary process, as usually, the bromine molecule gets excited by observing the visible UV visible light in the region of the wavelength of 450 to 550 nanometers. In the secondary process, this bromine and hydrogen react to give hydrogen bromide, and hydrogen atom or free radical. This hydrogen formed free radical in the first step. The second step reacts with the bromine molecule and gives hydrogen bromide and bromine free radical. So in the way the reaction goes on. If you observe here, the hydrogen and bromine are reappearing, okay, which are reactants. Actually they are reactants. So in simple words, this reaction is a little bit in the reaction the reactants are also forming. So that's why the quantum yield of this reaction is very low. The bromine atoms formed in the primary step attack hydrogen molecule and yielding hydrogen bromide, so on so on. Okay, so sorry. So this is this fifth step, which is reversal of this primary process. So it is forming a bromine molecule which is a reactant and a reversible to this reaction, reverse to this reaction. So that's why to get this product, that is hydrogen bromide, we have to supply more quantum of energy. So that's why we are supplying more quantum of energy, and lesser number of molecules are reacted. That's why the quantum yield of this reaction is very low, that is 0.01. Okay, that is the reason behind the low quantum yield of the reaction of hydrogen and bromide. So, and next one is photosensitization and photosensitized reactions, or these are called energy transfer reactions. In some photochemical processes, the reactant molecules do not observe the radiation to which they are exposed, and no reaction takes place. However, if a suitable foreign substance that absorbs radiation is added to the reaction mixture, the reaction takes place. The atoms of foreign substance absorb the radiation and pass it on to the reactive molecule and thereby initiate the reaction. This foreign substance is called as photosensitizer. In layman terms, photosensitizer can be considered as catalyst. Suppose to understand this, what is photosensitizer, if you take the photosynthesis, so if there is no chlorophyll in leaf, this carbon dioxide and water cannot be converted into carbohydrate, that is glucose and oxygen. Only this H nu, that is light radiation, cannot be observed by these two reactive molecules. Chlorophyll is required. What is the role of this chlorophyll? This chlorophyll observes this radiation from sun, and it gets excited. After getting excited, after entering into the excited level, it gives that energy to the reacting molecules. Then these reacting molecules, that is carbon dioxide and H2O, gets excited and forms products. So what is happening here? Chlorophyll, without chlorophyll, the photosynthesis cannot happen, and that is carbon dioxide and H2O cannot be converted into carbohydrate and oxygen. So there is light and these all these both reactants are there, but if there is no chlorophyll, the reaction cannot occur. So if there is chlorophyll, the chlorophyll absorbs radiation and it transfers that radiation or energy to the reacting molecules. Then these reacting molecules will be converted into products. So this chlorophyll can be called as photosensitizer. Okay, right? The foreign substance which, when added to a reaction mixture, helps to start the photochemical reaction without undergoing any chemical change in itself, is called a photosensitizer, and the process is called photosensitization. Okay, so here chlorophyll is a photosensitizer. It just absorbs energy and transfers to reactants, and it doesn't involve in the reaction, and it it doesn't undergo any chemical change. Okay, this is about photosensitizer, right? So a foreign substance, right, a foreign substance which added to a reaction mixture helps to start the photochemical reaction without undergoing any chemical change in itself, is called a photosensitizer, and the process is called photosensitization. Thus a photosensitizer acts merely as carrier of energy, right? Right. Commonly used photosensitizers are cadmium and mercury vapors. Some important examples of photosensitizer reactions are discussed below. So here first example is dissociation of hydrogen molecule. Okay, dissociation of hydrogen molecule in presence of mercury vapor. So a hydrogen molecule is unable to observe the radiation of a hydrogen molecule is unable to observe the radiation of wavelength 2537 angstrom that is emitted when an electrical discharge is passed through mercury vapor. In a mercury vapor lamp. Consequently, this radiation cannot bring about dissociation of hydrogen. However, when mercury vapor is mixed with hydrogen and exposed to light from a mercury vapor lamp, the reaction is photosensitized by mercury vapor and can be represented as like this. So what happened here? In the absence of mercury, this hydrogen cannot be dissociated. If you add mercury vapor to this hydrogen, then this mercury vapor gets excited, that absorbs light and transfers that energy to hydrogen molecule and it gets dissociated, right? So without this mercury, okay, the reaction cannot occur. So this mercury is transferring energy, that's why it is called as photosensitizer. This reaction is called as photosensitization reaction, sensitizer reaction, and this process is called as, this phenomena is called as photosensitization, right? And the second example is photosynthesis of carbohydrate in plants. Already we have discussed in introducing the concept of photosensitization or photosensitizer. Photosynthesis is a process sorry, is a process in which carbon dioxide and water vapor present in air combine in presence of chlorophyll, the green coloring matter of plants, and sunlight to form carbohydrate. So here chlorophyll acts as photosensitizer. It absorbs energy and transfers energy to the reactants, and in result the products are formed. And third one is decomposition of oxalic acid. Third example of photosensitized reactions is decomposition of oxalic acid. The decomposition of oxalic acid into carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide in presence of uranyl ions, okay, UO2 2 plus ion forms the basis of the actinometer used to measure the intensity of radiation. The process occurring or the excitation of the colored uranyl ion, okay, ions followed by transfer of energy to the colorless oxalic acid resulting in its decomposition. So what is happening here? This uranyl ion gets excited by observing the radiation, and this excited uranyl ion transfers the energy to oxalic acid and resulting in the formation of carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide and hydrogen. So this uranyl ion is acting as photosensitizer by transferring energy to the oxalic acid, okay. So the photosensitizer can be used over and over and again. This is about decomposition of oxalic acid. And fourth example of photosensitizer reaction is application of photosensitization in photography. A photographic plate coated with a simple emulsion of gelatin and silver bromide is sensitive only to the blue or blue violet part of the electromagnetic spectrum. However, it can be made sensitive even to green, yellow and orange light by the addition of suitable dyes. For example, a plate dyed yellow with aniline becomes sensitive to green, yellow and orange light. The dye linocyanol sensitizes the photographic plate to the red light, while neocyanin sensitizes the photographic plates even to the infrared radiations. Photographic emulsion, which are sensitive to the near infrared radiations, have made night photography possible. This is the one of the example and application of photosensitization reaction.